Some interesting tactics that are kind of creepy used by the FBI to track people. You may think you may think this is a good idea for helping find fugitives, and maybe it is. We'll have to read through this, and you'll have to decide for yourself. This is from TheVerge.com. FBI uses geofence warrant in Seattle after BLM protest attack. New documents show the agency sought information about all Android users in the region of Seattle. Police Officers Guild. Federal investigators served Google with a geofence warrant as part of an investigation into an attempted arson against a police union headquarters in Seattle during a protest of the shooting of Jacob Blake, as shown by documents unsealed today in federal court. If you remember, protesters tried to burn, this says, it was a police headquarters, police union headquarters. They tried to burn it down. They were unsuccessful, but an attempted arson took place on August 24th, 2020, one day after police officers shot Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin, leaving him paralyzed, from the waist down, I believe. This we know. Two people threw Molotov cocktails at the rear entrance of the headquarters of Seattle PD Police Officers Guild. While the building sustained little damage, the attack spurred widespread national interest. Seattle police initially posted a $1,000 reward for information, and the FBI later offered more money. So this is where it gets into the actual interesting part of it. This is the FBI's statement, the court affidavit. On August 24th, 2020, at approximately 11 p.m., two unknown suspects intentionally damaged the building using what I believe to be improvised incendiary devices, an FBI agent told the court in the affidavit. Based on the foregoing, I submit that there is probable cause to search information that is currently in the possession of Google, and that relates to the devices that reported being within the targeted location. So if you know, you can search, if you have this turned on, you can search in your, you can go through Google Maps and search in your, it's called timeline, and you can see everywhere you've been, the entire time you've had it turned on. You can see for years, and you can see how many times you've been to the mall or your favorite restaurant or New Hampshire. It tracks you everywhere if it's turned on. And there's some real question about if you have it turned off. Does Google still have that information? They say they don't. The warrant is addressed to Google and requests location history data sourced from information including GPS data and information about visible Wi-Fi points and Bluetooth beacons transmitted from devices to Google, reflecting devices that Google calculated were or could have been located within the geographical region bounded by the latitudinal and longitudinal coordinates, dates, and times below. So it's not your just your GPS. Google also uses your proximity to different Wi-Fi locations. So different, if it knows Starbucks Wi-Fi is located in this exact spot, and Burger King is over here, and then your phone can see both of those Wi-Fis, even if you're not connected to them, the phone and Google services use that to determine your exact location. They're trying to be as precise as possible there. So it's not just GPS, your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi will contribute to this as well as Bluetooth. Geographical coordinates provided with the warrant cover an area of a block that contains the police guild building and various other buildings, businesses, and also include all four street intersections at the edge of the block. The timeline for the warrant began from 10 to 11:15 p.m. So you can see here. Can I zoom out, please? No. You can see here. This is in the court filing what information they want. If you're anywhere in this at that time, Google knows it. Of course they know it. But this is the area that they're concerned with, and see if we can find the police union building. It's not immediately apparent to me, but it's within this block. So anyone within that hour and 15 minutes that passed, according to Google services, passed within this area is going to be reported to the FBI. The nature of such a warrant means that any Android user passing through the area during that hour would have the information disclosed to the FBI by Google. Generally, when geofence warrants are issued, Google returns an anonymized, easy for me to say, an anonymized list of devices that were present in the defined area over the given time period. If any of these devices seem to belong to suspects in the case, investigators may ask Google to release more information. I don't know how they would know if it's anonymized. That doesn't make sense. If they just receive, X number of users were there, well, how would the FBI know if it's all anonymized data? Seems like they would have to have specifics on people's names and numbers. Court records show Google complied with the warrant. So not only was this warrant issued, Google acquiesced. Complied with the warrant as it was returned as executed the following day. However, the fact that a public appeal for information was made by the FBI months after the warrant was granted, suggests that any information provided by Google did not help with the investigation. I'm not surprised. It was complete chaos. People running around everywhere. So even though they supplied this information, it wasn't obviously helpful enough because the FBI still wanted information from the public months later. Quote, as with all law enforcement requests, we have a rigorous process that is designed to protect the privacy of our users while supporting the important work of law enforcement, a Google spokesperson said. A press request sent to the FBI Seattle field office had not received response by the time of publication. A spokesperson for Seattle Police Department said she was not immediately able to comment on technical details of the investigation. Obviously not. While some towns saw significant property damage, this isn't particularly relevant to what we're talking about here. The use of geofence warrants has grown rapidly across the U.S. in recent years, with data released by Google showing a dramatic spike from 2018 to 2020. According to Google's transparency report, the company received 11,500 of these warrants in 2020, compared to only 982 in 2018. Well, that's not surprising that there was that much of an increase. You go from 1,000 to nearly 12,000. We all know what happened in the summer of 2020, so that's not surprising. It's not the fault, because when you have large groups of people, if there's any crime at all, you're going to have trouble identifying who was there, especially with people wearing masks for various reasons. It's not the first time authorities have used geofence warrants in response to a Black Lives Matter protest. Separately to the Seattle case described above, 6 separate warrants were issued in Kenosha, Wisconsin, to collect information on devices in proximity to protest areas after a police shooting of Jacob Blake. And you can read through this if you want to. How dry, right? The court filing. So you're gonna have to tell me what you think. Is it creepy to y'all that the government can? So first of all, it's creepy enough that tech companies have this kind of information and can target ads directly at us. And then when the state can get their hands on it, that's even creepier. And if it doesn't sound like they were actually even able to find these people, so if they can find them, that's a good thing. People trying to burn down a police station, that's obviously a good thing, but at what cost, So tell me what you think below. Tell me if this bothers you, that the police have this kind of access to our information. Most people, I would say, it doesn't really bother. So let me know what you think down below. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching today. That's what I've got for you. We'll catch up with you in the next video. Stay tuned. Appreciate it. Like the video if you can, and have a good one. Bye.